I've been in co-founder relationships in the past that where like both people were trying to do the same thing, and it created a lot of tension. And ultimately, I think was like a big part of why like the company failed.
Welcome to Honest Ecommerce, a podcast dedicated to cutting through the BS and finding actionable advice for online store owners. I'm your host, Chase Clymer, and I believe running a direct-to-consumer brand does not have to be complicated or a guessing game. On this podcast, we interview founders and experts who are putting in the work and creating real results. I also share my own insights from running our top Shopify consultancy, Electric Eye. We cut the fluff in favor of facts to help you grow your e-commerce business. Let's get on with the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Honest Ecommerce. Today, I'm welcoming to the show not one, but two co-founders of Freestyle, a modern parenthood company, Russ and Mike. Welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Freestyle, a modern parenthood company. What are the types of products that I would find on your website these days?
Yeah, Freestyle is currently selling diapers and wipes. And so those are forming the core of what we intend to be a wide future product line that hopefully helps young folks who are thinking about starting to have kids all the way through the time when their kids are in diapers.
Awesome. So take me back in time. Where'd the idea for this business come from?
Yeah. Russ and I got connected when we were a few years ago, when we were both kind of figuring out our next kind of moves professionally. We got connected through a mutual friend, with the kind of only context being that we were both dads and we both liked consumer brands. I was living in New York at the time. Russ is in LA. We hopped on a phone call and, just hit it off. I think we shared a lot of, as both being dads. Russ, having previously worked at a baby care company, had some ideas in the space just about doing things differently when it came to baby care. And it was really interesting. And obviously the relationship seemed to be very complementary from like a skill set perspective. And so, it was just one of these things that wasn't really planned. It just kind of naturally evolved over time. And, tested out a couple different concepts. And then we finally landed on what became Freestyle because Russ had a relationship with the supplier. What we launched with Freestyle was the first and only tree-free diaper on the US market. So every other diaper in existence uses tree pulp in the core of the diaper, which, depending on the size of the diaper, roughly 35 to 45% of the material used in the diaper. And about 1 billion trees are cut down every year to supply the global diaper market. So, we thought it was really interesting to kind of explore that. So we started working with them. We did a bunch of actual like lab testing. And the beauty of what we did was, instead of using trees, we used organic bamboo. Bamboo has a 30 to 90 day harvest cycle. It's technically a grass. It's the fastest growing plant in the world. But the beauty was it's actually like a drier material when processed. And so the diapers actually outperform, all the leading brands in the natural space, like across the board. And so we got really excited about the product. It gave us a lot of conviction to kind of go out and get this thing live.
Awesome. So let's walk through that timeline here kind of quickly. So you guys meet. You see that there is some kind of complementary skill sets. Can we talk a bit about like how to identify if someone would be a good co-founder for those out there that might be going through the same journey? And I like how you said complementary skill sets, not the same skill sets. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I can share my perspective on that because, when I first got on a call with Mike, it was actually in the context of him as an investor potentially. And we just got to talking about, just like you said, our shared experience as dads and what we thought were opportunities in the parenting and baby care space in general. And what quickly became clear was, he was sharing his background in having launched a CPG brand that had, and Mike, feel free to recharacterize this if you think it's unfair, but it had very like kind of streetwear or kind of like skating influences, which were something that was, this is 2020, everyone was talking about like hype brands and drops and streetwear. And it just felt like such a cool opportunity because like if we could somehow leverage that experience with this concept of, the supplier that I knew at the time, nobody's done this in the baby care world, right? And one thing I knew about my own background was that I think I'm very good at deal making and at convincing folks to do big things and take risks. But candidly, I don't know that I trust even my own taste. Like I know what good looks like. I have no idea how to create it. And I think that was what was awesome about talking with Mike, is it became clear that the things that I like to do were things that he didn't like to do, and the things that he was able to do were things that I was totally unable to do.
Absolutely. So there was some clear delineation in where the kind of like workload would be balanced between the two of you from an early kind of onset.
Yeah. I mean, I think like I've been in co-founder relationships in the past that where like both people were trying to do the same thing, and it created a lot of tension. And ultimately, I think was like a big part of why like the company failed, or like why it didn't have, and another one where like I think it could have been more successful. And it's not to say that like Russ is like totally disconnected from like the brand and marketing side, and I'm totally disconnected from like, the kind of business and operations side of it. Like, we're a team, and like, I think we're both well versed in both sides of the business where, if one of us needs to step in and help out with something, like we can do that. Both of us have ideas. We can, bounce feedback off or bounce ideas off each other to get that feedback, so it's like sometimes we're stepping into each other's shoes, but ultimately at the end of the day, we know each one of us has like the final say on like, that side of the business. And I think we respect each other's like, decisions on that.
Absolutely. So let's talk through kind of the ideation a little bit more here. So you meet in a interesting way, and you're talking about the opportunities in kind of the baby care space, and Russ comes to the table with this connection to a manufacturer. How quickly was it from that conversation to say like you had a prototype in your hand?
It was not fast. I actually did my best to persuade Mike that we shouldn't go into diapers despite this, this relationship and a potentially like unique advantage, just because I had, I'd spent the prior couple of years helping a team launch a very big diaper business. And, my role was largely to oversee that supply chain. And it's just very difficult. And the unique thing about diapers that I think in the e-commerce space in general, that category of entrepreneurship is and was created because it can be very straightforward and simple to run what feels like a big brand out of a small shop. That is absolutely not the case with diapers. Unlike, say, a little Amazon widget like this, like a clip on a phone or a beauty product, which you could fulfill out of your closet in your bedroom. Diapers require, just for the minimum order, like a 40,000 square foot facility that you've got to pay for and you've got to, maintain. And without massive sales velocities, that stuff can sit there for a long time, and just the carrying cost can be very expensive. So, that was, I think, the thing that we really tried hard not to go into diapers, but at the same time, we're very like our own market research, but we're very driven by what the consumers were telling us, right? We had a group. We're fortunate to have a partner early on who had a Facebook group with 4 million people in it, mostly dads. And we started polling them, like, what do you want to see in the space? Where do you see the opportunities are? Where do you feel like you're not spoken to well, and in which categories? And it was just super clear. Everyone's like, look, diapers and wipes. Like, there needs to be a better, more modern story told about what the world is like raising babies, and the best product through which you can express that story would be the thing they use the most, which is the diapers and wipes.
Yeah, and we actually, we hired like just a random designer on like Dribble to mock up some diaper patterns, and we put together like a free Shopify site. I mean, like the jankiest version of like a free Shopify site. And we ran some ads over like, I don't know, maybe 5 to 7 days, and actually had people check out. And then we just refunded their order, sent them an email saying, sorry, we're sold out. And we asked them to like hop on a quick phone call with us. And so I think that process, obviously there was a grain of salt because like the website and the designs and all that kind of stuff was like very minimal. But what we saw through that test was like, there's actually something here. Some of these like beginning, these inklings of the idea of what we want this to become, there was actually like, good response to it. So I thought that was like a really interesting test for us at the time.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to take a few moments to talk about a partnership we've had at the agency for years. Electric Eye and Recharge have been partners for longer than I can remember. Recharge is our go-to solution for clients when it comes to subscriptions. At Electric Eye, we know the ins and outs of Recharge. For example, we've set up replenishment subscriptions for consumables, created countless subscribe and save campaigns, and most recently, we got a client into a Recharge beta program to utilize Recharge's dynamic bundling solution for subscriptions. We've partnered with Recharge to solve subscription, loyalty, and membership for a diverse range of clients spanning industries like food and beverage, automotive, supplements, CPG, and beauty. Not only is Recharge an incredible partner, they've been paving the way for subscription solutions longer than anyone else in the game. The product is unmatched, giving them a massive advantage against the competition. Clients often come to us because they've struggled to find agencies that truly understand how to harness the power of Recharge. We're not just familiar, we're bona fide Recharge experts. It's one of our specialties. It's a pain point we're happy to solve. As a top-tier Recharge expert, we have unparalleled access to support and resources that ensure we'll have a successful outcome. We stay appraised of all their new feature releases and compatibilities, bundling, memberships, flows, you name it, we know it. So, if subscriptions, memberships, or loyalty are on your to-do list and you're ready to have it done, just let us know. Visit electriceye.io/recharge today to learn more about how we can tailor Recharge's robust product to your specific needs. That's electriceye.io/recharge. Let the experts at Electric Eye get it done the right way the first time. Join the ranks of our satisfied clients who partnered with us and Recharge to harness recurring revenue within their business. If you don't know what that sound is, you might be listening to the wrong podcast. That is the sound of another sale on your Shopify store. That's right, folks. We've finally made it. Shopify is a sponsor of today's episode of Honest Ecommerce, and I'm here today to talk about Shopify's point of sale solution. Shopify Point of Sale is your command center for your retail store. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify has everything you need to sell in person. With Shopify, you get a powerhouse selling partner that effortlessly unites your in-person and online sales into one source of truth. Track every sale across your business in one place and know exactly what's in stock. This has been a huge issue for clients of our agency in the past. You need your inventory to be synced in real time, and Shopify POS does just that. Connect with customers in-store and online. Shopify helps you drive store traffic with plug-and-play tools built for marketing campaigns from TikTok to Instagram and beyond. You can get hardware that fits your business, take payments by smartphone, transform your tablet into a point-of-sale system, or use Shopify's POS Go mobile device for a battle-tested solution. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success at every step along the way. Do retail right with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial at shopify.com/honest. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/honest, HONEST, to take your retail business to the next level today. Shopify.com/honest. All right, I want you to picture this. You're an e-commerce merchant juggling multiple platforms to manage your email marketing, SMS campaigns, and product reviews. It's a time-consuming and costly ordeal. But with SendLane, those days of chaos are long gone. SendLane brings together the power of email, SMS, and reviews all in one convenient place. So you can say goodbye to the hassle of separate tools and hello to simplified operations, increased efficiency, unified customer experience, and huge savings. And I haven't even gotten to the best part. With the all-new free SendLane reviews, you can leverage social proof to build trust and credibility with potential customers. Let me say that again, free product reviews. With SendLane, you pay for email and SMS, and you get reviews for free. SendLane understands that customer feedback is essential for the success of any e-commerce business. That's why they've made it an integral part of their platform without any additional cost to you. By unifying these key components of your tech stack, SendLane helps you save time and money, all while generating more revenue. Don't let your e-commerce tech stack hold you back. Embrace the unifying force of SendLane and take your business to new heights. Sign up today and experience the power of streamlined operations, increased efficiency, and revenue growth. Visit sendlane.com/honest to learn more and schedule your free consultation with a SendLane expert. That's sendlane.com/honest. I would love to dive a little bit deeper into that test because that's such a great way to test a new product into a new market and get validated feedback from consumers. And how you said over a week, about how much budget did you put into this test?
I think we had 5 or 6 different ads going each day at it was $25 or $50 cap per day. It wasn't a ton of money. And full credit to a 4-hour work week, right? Like that was where we got this idea where it was like a Tim Ferriss concept of, don't just take someone to a lander and ask for their interest, take them all the way through checkout, because that's the only way you know you're a real CPA. Because everyone will tell you they'll do something and then in reality they won't. But that's what we spreadsheeted out was like, okay, what's our CPC? What's our CTR? What's our CAC? Because these would have been real sales. And then you just, cross your fingers that after the fact, the folks that that went through checkout won't get too frustrated when you tell them that you're out of stock, right?
Yeah. Going back to that timeline question, I never got a clear answer from you guys. So you guys meet. When did you get the first prototype, and then when did you launch that test, or was it like almost concurrently?
It was like Mike said, it took 2 years actually. So we met, we tested some concepts, we raised a little money to literally for like a general new modern parenting company, very small amounts to like build a site. We started with a different SKU entirely. Which was more focused on dads, and then quickly realized that there was an AOV challenge there. We needed more SKUs to be able to pay for the advertising costs to drive these folks to the site. And then that was when we started testing these ideas of like, okay, if we're going to add on a new SKU, what's it going to be? Everyone said it's got to be diapers. And then we said, okay, well, what kind of diapers? And how do we think about how we're different in this category that's like clearly dominated by 2 massive players? And then that's when these ad tests came up. So from time of meeting to launching a Freestyle was about 2.5 years.
Absolutely. And so you guys run these tests, you get some awesome data. What do you do with that? What's the next step?
Threw it in a deck and fundraised. I mean, literally, yeah.
Yeah, just like as Russ mentioned, the thing about diapers is the minimum. The MOQs are so high. I mean, our first order was I don't know, I think like 15 shipping containers worth of diapers. It's huge. And so, you just have to have capital on hand to get going. And, it's unless you're just like super loaded, it's not something that you can really bootstrap. And so we had to raise capital to kind of get this thing up and running. So we were raising money as we were kind of going through the R&D process and closed out that pre-seed round in 2021.
Awesome. So you guys take these numbers back to investors, raise a bit more money, you get your final product, and you're now headed towards your official launch. Is that what it was?
Yeah. So I love the specificity on the timeline. So let me give it to you and lay it out so you can map all these numbers, right? Meet in 2020, test for about 1.5 years. Settle on, we're going to do diapers, raise for about 6 months. End of 2021 is where we're at that point. And then we order the diapers, get the brand ready. Now we've got cash in the bank to actually build a brand and design, hire whoever we need to hire to get things ready. And then takes, call it 4 to 6 months for the diapers to actually arrive. And because there's testing and changing the specs and samples, all of which had been going on for a long time. Diapers finally hit, site goes live June 2022.
I mean, everything that we could. Yeah, I mean, it's like we didn't have we don't have any like creators attached to the brand. We don't have, we were effectively starting from zero for the most part, right? So a lot of it was just like, content that we put out in terms of, trying to look and appear different, tell a totally different story around parenting. We did a lot with influencers. We have a whole series that we do called the Baby Makers, which is like we send a photographer to a family's home and do this really cool photo shoot, do a Q&A. And we also launched a bunch of like limited edition merch and accessories, which are kind of products that are non-core to the business, but really are just like these like marketing opportunities for us, like especially at the time when we only had diapers. You can only talk about your diapers so much, right? Before people start getting like, a little bit tired of it. And so, the idea with the merch and the accessories was like in those kind of steady states, like we were able to kind of bring new content and new products and collaborate with different brands and different influencers to kind of tell different stories. So that was the main thing that we were doing at the time. And,
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably a good moment to clarify where freestyle, I think, is very different on the market. And I think that informs this approach that we took of like an ensemble of kind of, which you might think of as more micro style influencers. It's been so like the story of macro, notable, famous person launching diaper line has been told so many times, it feels like at this point, that we just knew that we couldn't take that approach from day one. And as parents, even when we were going back to the dad concept, what Mike and I really aligned on was like, look, for the story of parenthood has always looked the same. It's you move to the suburbs, you get behind a white picket fence, you put on khakis, and you become boring. And that's really like, I don't know why that's the story we've told ourselves as a culture, but I mean, you almost fall into it, even almost especially as a dad. I found myself like at the preschool talking to other dads and like, oh, it's hard. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, it's kids. Oh, I don't go out anymore. And it just felt like, what, that first of all, I'm choosing that, and that's not true. And second of all, what if we told the exact opposite of that? And what if we talked about how becoming a parent is, in fact, like the greatest expression of your best parts of you, and it doesn't change who you are as a young person, as a creative, or as an athlete, or as a chef, or whatever it is. And then we built a brand that was kind of inspiring in that way, and then also had these great product attributes that really support those principles. So we got lucky in having a supplier who had this great sustainability and like future forward story. That was great. That fits the modern, kind of storytelling we want to do. How do you tell that story? Well, I think, the answer we came to was like, let's not put all our bets on one person. Let's get a whole group of just people doing awesome things who also happen to be parents, and then get them to just sort of share what their life is like. And then that was the intent, is that story will naturally support everything else we have to say. And it took a minute, realistically, we didn't have some big splashy launch, like a launch party or anything like that. But, as Mike said, the steady drip of collaborations and content series and, really cool people with really dedicated communities all talking about freestyle at the same time, you start to get that overlap with those audiences. And I think that's where you really started to see the compounding happen. And so I would say it wasn't until like fourth quarter last year that the brand really started to feel, like this, it's got legs.
Absolutely. So you were doing all these micro, macro, however you want to title it, influencer campaigns, building out these relationships, building out amazing content with these people. And now are you taking all that content and all of that organic traffic and goodwill that you're building and then starting to pump it into retargeting through, advertising, texting, emails? Like, how are you trying to drive people back?
Yeah. I mean, we actually don't spend much on top of funnel, like paid at all. And so almost all of our budget goes instead to exactly what you're describing, re-engagement of audiences that have found their way to us, and through this kind of quote unquote organic means, which of course there's always money behind it in the end, but it's not like direct Facebook click to sale. That's how we look at the business. We also heavily emphasized retail from day one as a significant channel for the business, largely because the reality of being a parent, I think, it stems from, we actually are parents who started this business, right? So we bought diapers, had diapers needs, and the reality is like, you run out of diapers one day, you're just going to go to the local store because that you have to have it in the minute. You can't. Nobody's got time to get on a website, order diapers, and sit back and wait for 5 days when you need them. So you've got to have a really broad presence to support whatever D2C business you build in this category. And we worked hard on that. And we're really fortunate to hustle our way into what we think of as the nation's premier grocery chain, which is Whole Foods, who's rolling us out currently nationwide. And on top of them, we have another, several dozen grocery chains that carry us. And so those things all support those like multiple touch points that hopefully parents have with our brand, where they see us in the aisle, they see some of the, they see or hear some of our content that we're creating, and then they find their way back. We get, we do really well on performance lists and, lists with bloggers because the product is so fantastic. It truly is like, we arguably should be charging like 50% more for these diapers. They're like insanely good. And so that I think is a deliberate strategy on our part too. I say I think because, we'll see if it all pays off, but like, the having other people wanting to write about it because they have such great experiences really supports, the paid strategy, which then is retarget everyone and make sure they never forget that, they found us in this really cool way.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the biggest secrets to building a direct-to-consumer business is just have a really good product.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, that's what we fundraised on in our second round was like, look, nobody's going to be blown away by our top line yet, although the growth is exciting. But what you are going to be blown away with is our retention rates, which are just like, off the charts good. It looks more like Netflix than a D2C brand. And I think that was absolutely what convinced many of our investors to re-up and what brought some new folks to the table.
That's fantastic. Now, if I'm a new parent and I'm listening to this podcast, where should I go to check out the product?
Yeah, you could check out any of the Whole Foods stores nationwide. They carry our diapers and our brand new wipes, which are amazing, EWG verified, bamboo wipes, plastic negative, just a fantastic product. Both of those products are on shelf at all Whole Foods nationwide. And then you can also find us at freestyle.world, where you can sign up for subscriptions and get the best price.
Awesome. Thank you guys both for coming on the show today and sharing your story.
All right.
Thank you, Chase. Appreciate it.
We can't thank our guests enough for coming on the show and sharing their knowledge and journey with us. We've got a lot to think about and potentially add into our own businesses. You can find all the links in the show notes. You can subscribe to the newsletter at honestecommerce.co to get each episode delivered right into your inbox. If you're enjoying this content, consider leaving a review on iTunes. That really helps us out. Lastly, if you're a store owner looking for an amazing partner to help you get your Shopify store to the next level, reach out to Electric Eye at electriceye.io/connect. Until next time.